Yes, it is that time of day again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Stargoat Studios. It is I, Stephen Gray, your favorite Stargoat, even though it is you. You are the star and you are the goat. You know this. You all know this. Everybody knows that everything that you're doing today is going to be better than it was yesterday. I believe in you. You believe in you. We all believe. And that's all it takes, right? For us all just to believe, and then it'll happen for us, right? That's how it all works. So you notice the title. I went ahead and decided, fine, I will not blaze it up 24/7. Let's get scientific about it. I was essentially saturating my endocannabinoid system with very large doses of tetrahydrocannabinol, specifically to ensure the development of cancer or any other particulates that might have accumulated throughout my body were just burnt up easily. The metabolism of cannabis. From the studies I've looked into that were not paid for by mega corporations, those studies, I would like to call those actual studies versus paid for studies. Paid for studies, they have a different place in our society, and it really ultimately comes down to is the psychological nature behind whether or not the imposers, the people that are imposing the different rules and regulations, ideologies into the public, are they doing it with the purpose, the intention of reverse psychology, coercing people into doing the exact opposite? Most likely. A lot of people that are in positions of power understand behaviorism and how people interact with one another. And it's something I personally just got to send out a little message here. I'll just come pick you up, okay? Don't want to do any overreaching. So it is Monday. It is Monday morning. I do not expect a large audience this morning. I did send out 5 invites to people who have showed interest before in getting up on this podcast. And currently, looks like a few of them, they all did receive the messages. Nobody's actually read the messages yet. So I went ahead and put on my X page a poll questioning whether or not people believe weed is good or weed is bad. And this kind of like, leaves it open for people to really express their opinions. Let it be an actual opinion or a scientific fact. I did leave that open for people to lay the ground for each other, for themselves. Because ultimately, when it comes to existing by yourself, if it's just you, really, you don't owe anyone anything. Whatever you say is valuable is valuable. If you place value on enhancing your environment to sustain your homeostasis, your perfect state of being, then I'd have to call that intellect. That's, to me, intelligence. It's like that unwritten bias that we assign the value to continue to exist versus not existing. Well, we can't prove that we don't exist. So clearly, the value is inherent in the statement itself. You do, so you do. What else is there to question? Why you do? I mean, that answers itself. So got a bunch of cool cats out here. I did send out the invite to Mr. Gobe Claudel, who's got that Haitian cuisine. I've been scrolling through Facebook, and he's got some really good, delicious looking food. I really wanted some of them short ribs and that potato thing you did with the cheese. He's probably in the kitchen right now because he owns a catering company out in Florida where they bring food to, I believe, the elderly and disabled. Gobi's working on a organization, a nonprofit, or something to that effect. He'll get back on here. He'll open up about that. But part of it, he expressed on our show a few weeks ago, is that he has a permit or certificate that allows for him to create food that has cannabis in it, tetrahydrocannabinol, the actual psychoactive compound that's found in the plant. He is allowed to bring that to the patients in his care facility and help alleviate, different ailments that they might be suffering from. And so that kind of brings me back to my little promise to not burn it up for the next month. I'm doing this at a huge risk to myself. A lot of people don't realize that their lives are mostly incomplete. And I'm not saying go out and get a dab rig and, smoke a blunt or do anything. Those things are not inherently necessarily ideally good for you. Think of it as the equivalent of rushing out to, let's say, an orange tree, and you concentrate all the oranges and you make it into, super concentrated vitamin C, and then you smoke it. Like, why would you do that? That just does not make any sense. But you do eat an orange a day, slowly, gradually over time, absorbing the nutrients and reaping the benefits of that. Same with cannabis. It ultimately should be a micro ingredient in food, and over periods of time, much like over the last 90 years, how we've seen the increase in cancer and MS and other ailments after the criminalization of cannabis, I theorized that we would see a decrease over a period of time of all these ailments. So it's like we're gaining followers, we're gaining viewers, we're losing followers. I do want to take this time to thank you for watching this video. The one person that's still watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to enable the comments now. So if you do throw comments up, they will appear on the screen. And if you watched the video last night, I was extremely tired. I was up since 3 a.m. just, working, doing all the various things that I do throughout the day. And so when I did come online, I was very bloodshot eyes, and I might not have been fully coherent, versus this morning I've had 3 cups of coffee. I definitely had a little bit of nicotine. I didn't quit the nicotine because if you follow me on X, I put in a notation under the post, the poll that I published regarding whether or not people think cannabis is good or bad. And under that, I put a notation on there that part of what I'm doing is lowering my vibrational frequency, literally, to a state where I would be able to better interact with people that are in that vibrational field, right? So all the people that don't smoke weed, they go to their jobs, they, watch a sitcom on Fridays, or they might have some wine or something, people out there drinking their beers. For the most part, the public that, for what we can tell, is in that state where, weed is bad, the government says it's bad, and so they bought into it and they live it. And I left that world at 14, honestly. Who didn't? Well, A lot of people, the majority, in fact. And the majority of the people went ahead and just believed what they were told. I call that living the life on the silver platter. A lot of people love that silver platter. They get it and they're like, huh, this is perfect. This is all I'll ever need again. Little do they know there's a gold platter, there's a platinum platter, and then there's this whole state of existence where you don't even need a platter. So I can fast forward the entire podcast right now, and I can tell you straight up. Hunter Thompson's quoted in saying this in the book Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He was talking about himself and his attorney. No matter what anybody says, no matter how many times you hear somebody say, you can get a lot higher without the drugs than on them. When I heard that, I really took that into my brain and let it run wild. And I thought about these monks and people that do fasting and, you know, the whole, we mentioned last night, Kung Fu Panda Tigress saying Kung Fu Master could survive off the dewdrop off the blade of a grass and the energy of the universe. It's true. You mentally, this is a mental universe. If you believe in the Hermeticism, you are in complete and absolute control over the energy around you. To a point. Most likely in your current state, you're not. You are already way down the rabbit hole of submitting your energy to the world around you. You have been completely indoctrinated by your environment. How do you escape that? Slowly, because detoxing can be painful, right? You've seen the junkies, you've seen how hard it is to get off heroin. It is literally just as hard to get off of misinformation. That right there is what we need clinics for. Actually, we do. We have a lot of psychologists out there trying to help people, trying to help them get through their thoughts of, am I enough? What am I even doing here? Why do I even bother every day? And, for somebody that consumes cannabis on a regular basis, of course, clearly not right now. I haven't smoked since yesterday. So you're getting this from the in-between state right now. And I can tell you right now that your purpose is not defined by what you're consuming. It's inside of here. It's internal, right? So if you believe that you need cannabis to survive, to be yourself, that's fine. Are people going to knock you for it? Absolutely. But what does that ultimately have to do with you? The congruency and cohesion of the entire globe, the advancement of us whole as a species, like the entire entity. And this subject really does play into so many others. It's really intriguing for me to be able to sit back and look at a timeline of human history and see the different schools of thought being resisted upon, and the different great thinkers that have been just cast away from society. And then we end up adopting those persons' entire ideology. We end up embracing it and then we live by it. Socrates, that's a really good one right there. If you don't know, a lot of the way we live today is thousands of years old. That thought on how we should interact with one another, the freedoms that we enjoy and we think we're entitled to, So I'm not getting many comments here, my 3 viewers. I do appreciate you all coming on. Honestly, I can sit here and talk to myself nonstop all day. I will just keep coming up with things to talk about. I know, it's peculiar. It's like, well, what are we talking about? Why aren't we just out doing it? Well, we are. We are doing it. Anybody that might come across this, maybe it's going to help them. And that's really what it comes down to. So we talked about the people that do smoke. Let's continue that and talk about the people that don't and where I am currently heading. Staying anchored in the higher dimensions where I have already completed much of the neuroplasticity of the frontal lobe in order for me to be able to insert myself into these lower vibrational fields. It's basically an extraction mission. You can't go into a group of people if you have nothing to share in common with them and expect them to understand or hear anything that you have to say. When I went to a Reiki practitioner years and years and years ago, I asked her about being vegan and fasting and all that. How does she manage? And she was like, well, think of it like this. If I want to get closer to God, I fast. Right? You lessen the burden on the human body so she can get to a higher state. And then if she wants to do earth things like go hiking using her body, right, in this plane, she'll go eat a steak. And that goes back to what my question is. What are your goals? What do you value? Do you want to get higher? Do you want to get lower? Do you want to experience human? Do you want to experience God? It's bias either way. It's completely like elbows and other things humans possessed. Everybody's got one. Most everybody. We all know that now. Not everybody has elbows. Everybody has a place where an elbow should be. How about that? Anyways, I don't want to take up too many people's day. This is 17 minutes in, and I'm just totally happy and grateful to be here discussing these worldly issues. Is that what they really are? Are they worldly, or are they just in your head? They're most likely in your head. And like I said, why are we talking about it? Why aren't we out there doing something about it? Well, I have this time right now to open up the floor and get some comments, get some feedback, little real-time feedback. Maybe if I open up the comments section on Facebook, I think there's something on here that allows for that. We have one saying hello in the comment section on Facebook. I love it. But what I'm really kind of wondering, why doesn't it show up in the comments section on my StreamYard? So if you saw, StreamYard has this little thing where I shared the link, and then it probably encourages people that catch the post to, let me double check. If you're new to streaming or looking to level up, check out StreamYard and get a $10 discount. That's what it is. So that should have posted on X, Facebook, and YouTube. And anywhere in here, we might be able to find further comments. But honestly, this is a technical issue that the producers and editors should be dealing with. Kind of goes back into what I was really getting at with the whole cannabis use thing. And last night, SourceX was like, "Oh, I've met you in both states. I know there's a different Steven on each end." And I'm like, "Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly do. I am a different Steven if I smoke cannabis. I am very empathetic. I become the most understanding person on earth when I smoke weed. Honestly, I hear people's problems and I feel it. I feel your problems, and I can literally put myself in your shoes. And the person that doesn't smoke, am I empathetic? Not so much, honestly. I it's not that I dismiss your feelings when I'm sober. It's more like I have a lack of excuses anymore. And it's not that my brain is unable to see how you live and why you made the choices you make, because that's what empathy is. And when you smoke cannabis, you have all these neurotransmitters and synapses, making all these different connections, creating different scenarios and allowing for you to play out each situation and kind of be at ease with it, versus the structured immediate order of the sober mind. And it's almost like you don't take the time to filter or consider the infinite possibilities. It's very right here, right now, this is what it is. And so when I say I run out of excuses for people telling me their stories, I usually, just because of my training and I know how I become, I've learned to just take a deep breath, honestly. And I try not to get power hungry, because you always have a choice, right? You have a choice to intervene, help that person, or walk away, smile and nod, shine them on. I feel more obligated, more human under the influence of cannabis. And when I'm not, I see it very much like black and white. Like, we are just animals, and you don't really choose so much as you are trained. I come up with this logic either way. It's still me underneath. But in behaviorism, what a person says versus what a person does, those are really big identity markers right there, right? So you're out there getting faded 24/7. You're just completely saturated with THC. The theory is that you don't experience the psychoactive elements at a certain point. Your brain puts up these little blocks and you don't get high anymore. Instead, the neuroplasticity is continuing and your body's, metabolizing and breaking down the different cancerous and things that are going on inside of you. And you do it without thinking. Like, the act of participation in your body, I think, is what we were discussing last night. And what I quoted Hunter Thompson, you can get a lot higher without the drugs than on them. Honestly, if you are a true master of your mind, you don't need anything. You don't need any steaks or lobsters to go hiking. You don't need to sit there and fast and meditate to get closer to God. Once you've already reached the point, it's so hard to explain. You have to experience it. Three viewers. Thank you guys for staying with me 23 minutes into this podcast. Just me sitting here rambling. Are you guys here for Mickey Mouse and the guitar? Am I saying things that are making sense? Don't stress too much, all right? This can all be edited if you don't want your comments published for the world to see. We don't have to publish this. I'll go back. I'll just generate a bunch of clips. It'll take out, the different conversations, and we could just use that for reels. I'm just feeling all smiles. You're wondering, can he really keep talking? The answer is yes. Yes, absolutely. And if I must, I'll read the Divine Comedy to you. Dante, you guys want to get into that? Nah. Do you know what the Divine Comedy is about? A lot of people heard the Divine Comedy for the first time from Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets. And he was using it as an insult to explain I don't even think he was explaining anything. I think he was just literally using it as an insult to prove to the person he was having a conversation with that they don't know anything. Up we go and down we went. Met in the middle. That's the summary of the Divine Comedy. Purgatory, heaven, hell. It's a good book. My brother has my copy. That's right, because I got the whole Kindle subscription thing, and I could just sit here and go through books. Actually, I was reading again. I don't know how many times I've opened this one, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I've already quoted it like 6 times this morning. I mean, what did anybody get out of that movie? Drugs. You can do drugs. The people that are enforcing the anti-use of drugs are not as bright as they let on to be. It's all a facade. If you truly want to live the American dream in action, you gotta let go. I mean, did you see it in his eyes? He was just gripped with fear, man. I'll pull it up right now. What you got? Amazon Kindle. I wonder how unauthorized I am to sit here and read other people's works of art. As long as I quote it, right? Is that how that works? Is anybody familiar with the copyrights? All right. Much respect to the author, Hunter S. Thompson. Those are my own words. I'm not reading yet. Writing the book Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I came across in 1999. The movie Fear and Loathing with Johnny Depp was released in 1998. This book was released in the failure of our Lord 1972. 78, 76, somewhere in the 70s. So there's like a little pre-thing here that talks about it's the introduction. So we're at the Bellagio, and let's just start. Part 1. We're somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs begin to take hold. I remember saying something like, I feel a bit lightheaded. Maybe you should drive. And suddenly, there was a terrible roar all around us, and the sky was full of what looked like huge bats, all swooping and screeching and diving around the car, which was going about 100 miles an hour with the top down to Las Vegas. And a voice was screaming, "Holy Jesus! What are these goddamn animals?" Then it was quiet again. Nobody's going to stop me. My attorney had taken off his shirt and was pouring beer on his chest to facilitate the tanning process. "What the hell are you yelling about?" he muttered, staring up at the sun with his eyes closed and covered with wraparound Spanish sunglasses. "Never mind," I said. "It's your turn to drive." I hit the brakes and aimed the great red shark toward the shoulder of the highway. No point in mentioning those bats, I thought. The poor bastard will see them soon enough. All right, I'm not going to sit here and read that whole book, but I would like to talk about that opening scene. The sky was full of what looked like huge bats and manta rays all swooping, screeching, and diving. Why does that work? Why does that just paint such a good picture in the brain? I was at Disneyland a few weeks ago, and I was standing in between California Adventure and Disneyland. They have a huge 70th anniversary cake there right now. And the sun was going down. I was with my son. And every night I noticed, they got all these spotlights going on. And I always thought maybe they're trying to clear the air because there's a bunch of birds. Maybe they're trying to alert air traffic that, they're going to have a fireworks show. So it's twilight. The sun's going down, and I'm standing by the cake, and I look up and I see the spotlights, and they're all aimed right at the middle. And I am not even kidding you. There were Dementors flying in a circle, and they're like, if they weren't Dementors, they were absolutely condors. The biggest birds they were so high up, and I was like, what is that? And I'm like trying to pull my phone out so I can get a video real quick, and my son saw it too. But just as soon as I got that phone out, vanished. All I could think is, it's Universal Studios. They're sending the Dementors down here to attack Disneyland. You know, they got a little spiritual battle thing going on, clearly, and we're just right in the middle of it. Spiritual war, right? Everybody knows about that. No? All right. I don't know anything about that either. I do believe in that whole mentalism thing and putting up those energetic grids around your body, charms, you know, not just around you, but put them around everybody, you know. There's only so much you can't do before you can do, right? You gotta deduce all options into the one workable one. So, regardless of me putting myself at risk, I do understand very much what I am doing, and I'm cool with it. Honestly, I think at this point I do have the mental prowess to be able to control my physiology in such a way that I can experience the benefits of cannabis use without using cannabis. How's that for psychotic? It is absolutely everything I just said, completely white padded room, straight jacket talk. At least it was at one point in our history. People that speak of other realms and dimensions, they're usually locked up. Nobody wants to hear that. I have theories. I'm sure you do too. A lot of us out there kind of sit back and wonder every day. You know, what we've been told is true versus what is true. It's just a vicious cycle of, interesting. So we're down to two viewers. See, everybody's probably got to do their Monday. You're probably wondering, well, what are you going to do today, Stephen? I'm going to clean, not just my house, but I'm going to clean. I have two people lined up. Oh, no. It's somebody's birthday today. I'm going to send out a birthday message right now, as a matter of fact. And then I'm also, so I got one person's house to clean, one person to take shopping. And the other day I did a little timeshare tour at Disneyland. I didn't know this. If you do that and you're a season pass holder, at the end of it, they'll give you lightning lane passes. What? That's like $36 value each. At least I think it's 30. It's somewhere. It's a little bit extra. You know, you're already paying for a day without California residency. Just one day. I don't even know what the price is. It's a lot. I hear it's a lot. It could be $80. I don't know. Look it up. With that lightning lane on top of that, that puts you up at the front of the line. I'm telling you right now. I moved over here so I could just be at the park every day at 8 a.m. when everybody else is at school or work or something. You know, I could just go over there and get a couple rides every day of the year, biggity bam. Sometimes I show up in the evening and I'm like, man, I want to go on that Star Wars ride, you know, the Rise of the Resistance. That's a wild ride, but the line is always like, do I gotta go stand in that right now? Anyways, y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. I am going to go take advantage of my lightning lane passes. I'm going to eat food. I'm going to bless as many people as I can with whatever resources I have available. I'm going to stack resources. I'm going to find more resources. And I'm going to literally give them away to people that might have missed. You know, they tried, and their ship didn't come. So if your ships come and you got it, I just encourage you to do the same. You know what your job is. Much love to everyone. Call your mom, tell her you love her. Be sure to thank her. If she's not around, much love and prayers to her. And if she wasn't that person in your life, then I don't know, use that as a platform for you to be better. Whatever bad stuff is out there. Use it as a platform to be the better version of yourself. All right. Recognize greatness and stay in love. Stay curious. I will talk to everyone later. Have a great, beautiful day. Au revoir.